Okay, let's step into the world of medium and small enterprises. It's been a topic that's been chewed, not just this time, but it's been long in conversation about what to do with this very critical part of our economic structure. One man who's been passionate about this and is available on Twitter, and you want to follow him. And the conversation sometimes will get a little bit tough out there on social media, discussing the state of and the future of MSMEs. Celestine Okeke is live in our Abuja studios now to us. He's the lead partner at MSME Advocacy and Support Initiative. Good morning, Mr. Okeke, for coming through on the program.
Good morning, Boston. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate your time. You're very passionate about medium and small enterprises. In fact, that's actually the acronym for your organization, where you're the lead partner. But let's start from where we are right now. The economy is contracting. In other words, it's shrinking, like you put something like a polythene over a fire, and it's beginning to shrink. So that's how things look like now. So we talk about the big businesses, big companies, declaring losses and what have you, all stocks, what have you. But when we talk about the MSMEs, how are they surviving? What is the state right now? Do you have any idea?
For the big businesses, they could still move around, get some fund, get some help from some places. But for MSMEs, it's really a tough situation for MSMEs. And we're not talking about access to finance for now, because that is a forgotten issue. Nobody's talking about access to finance for MSMEs. We're looking at the non-financial services. Some weeks back, I read the news where bakeries were closed down in Kwara State because their license had expired and they were thrown out of business. And I was wondering why is NAFDAC not aware that the economy is so bad that people are barely surviving, people are barely able to pull through in businesses, and we are closing down bakeries because their license have expired. So the economy is really biting down on MSMEs. The one, they don't even have the finance. The little finance they have with which they are operating is going down daily. Government needs to do something urgently.
Yes, doing business, and you talk about those bakeries in Kwara State. Thanks very much for bringing us into that new space. Would you want them to produce bread without NAFDAC approval? So they've got to pay and renew their licenses, isn't it? Or you think the cost of those licenses, the cost of renewal is high?
Boston, let me say something. If I apply for a driver's license for my car, and I get the license, from the date the license expires, it doesn't mean I don't know how to drive again. It just says I need to pay government to get a renewal. So the same thing for the bakery owners. From the date the license expires, it never meant they could no longer produce bread. It just says they are not yet able, or they have not yet come to pay the renewal fee for the license. That doesn't say they are no longer able to produce bread in the right way they've been producing it. So what I'm saying in essence is government has to look closely on how to support MSMEs. Regulatory agencies should go beyond just doing regulation. They should also help these businesses to survive. I'm not against people not renewing their license, but the economy is so bad that families are barely pulling through. So we should be able to look and say, okay, look, in the next 1 year, we'll have to relax some of these regulatory issues so that MSMEs can thrive. Not forgetting the fact that they don't even have access to finance. They can't even get finance. So the little one they have, they're running their businesses with. We should not suffocate them out of businesses, out of existence.
You just stepping into the heart of the conversation, and we appreciate that. What other non-financial services support do you think the MSME should get at this point?
Yeah, Boston, let me start from the very first point of it. As a day, we don't have a standard procedure for incorporating a business in Nigeria, either as a business name or a limited enterprise. We've been told if you go, you can do your transactions online to incorporate. But I tell you, if you go to CAC as at this morning, you will still find hundreds of lawyers loitering around, which still means that you cannot incorporate a business without using third parties. So we don't even have a fixed rate for registering a business or incorporating a limited enterprise in Nigeria. We don't have, which is one. Now, people pay between 15 to 20,000 to register a business name, then between 60 to 100,000 to do a limited liability. And a survey would show that sometimes this constitutes up to 5 to 10% of their working capital. Then if you want to get a loan again, even if it's your BOI or your BOA, you have to use a consultant who who prepares your business plan, does your financials and the rest. And you're still going to pay the consultant between 5 to 10% of the cost of the loan you want to take. So there are several things government need to do to help MSMEs. And let me also point something clearly. If you go on Google or any search engine and say, I want to start a business in Nigeria, what should I do? The first 10 responses you will find are paid adverts from consultants who want to take money from you. So we don't even have a platform where somebody who wants to do business can log on to and knows how to go to CAC, how to go to FRS. We don't have it.
But again, if you listen to, and I have listened to,
they are very clearly missing.
Yes, if I get in here very quickly, we've listened to the bank of industry, for example, over the years complaining about the quality, and bankers have said this with themselves, about the quality of proposals for credits that some medium and small enterprises bring in to the table, whether they're virgin products, or what you call greenfield, or they want angel investors, whatever, they want money. But the quality of the documents that they call business ideas or business proposals are not it at all. So you find consultants coming in here to help them, to help you put these documents together, and they've got to charge you a fee for that, to make sure that you don't present business ideas that will head into the waters as soon as you get started, because you're not so experienced in putting such documents together.
Yeah, boss, let me respond in this way. As SMED is supposed to play a big role in helping MSMEs to fine-tune their business plans. In the last 5 years, SMED has spent over 10 billion on trainings alone. And we asked them a question: if you devote 10% of this, which is over 100 million, to help MSMEs draft their business plans, help them go through the process of going to CAC and the rest, we would have achieved so much. Mind you, where entrepreneurship is not taught in universities in Nigeria. So most people who leave universities and out of frustration that they can't get a job, that decide to go into business, you don't expect them to come up with a fantastic business plan. They can't, because they were not taught the fundamentals from school. Which is where SMED ought to have come in and said, look, if you want to get a loan, come to us. We help you do your business plan. We have formats that we'll use for you. But there's nothing of such. So people who have searched for jobs for years and they can't get jobs and they decide to go start a business, you can't expect them to give you a very good business plan. They can't. They don't have the foundation to give you that. Which is what we're saying, there is a need for non-financial services. Many businesses existing today with several millions in their working capital don't even know how to do their bookkeeping.
So it's dangerous, therefore, to give money to such people. So you need, would you, I'm not sure you will advise that we give money to people. So these non-financial services, you talk about SMED. Do we have any other government agencies out there that you think should have very quickly on these? And again, I think last year, the new administration talked about a new committee, I think a presidential committee on MSMEs. What's your view about this? What do you think should be done from that very top? We're talking about the government now trickling down to the MSMEs in terms of non-financial services support.
Yeah, I'll point something out for us to look through. When UWIN was started in 2012, a good number of people that won UWIN got between 1 to 10 million. And I kept telling the coordinator then, look, you can't keep giving people money and expecting they will fly with the money when they don't even know how to use funds. Give them non-financial services, teach them how to run businesses, and nobody was interested. It was just about, we're giving you loan to go start business, we're giving you grant rather to go start business. And as at 2014, when World Bank did a survey, over 40% of those businesses had failed. Why did they fail? I'll give you 3 examples. A photo studio, a lady got 10 million to start a photo studio, and she was getting the funds in tranches. And we said, look, tranches will not work for a photo studio owner. She needs her bulk to start once. By the time she had set up shop in Gwarinpa, the person she left the employment had gone to Gwarinpa and set up another shop waiting for her. She was stuck. She didn't know how to proceed. Somebody started the waste collection services in Kubwa, and less than 6 months after, FCT started licensing waste collectors in the same area, and the guy could not raise the funds to go pay for license. And we ran to UWIN. What can you do for this young man so that he doesn't lose his business? FCT was not interested, UWIN was not interested, and the 10 million went down the drain. Somebody went into transport services and bought buses, American buses. Less than 1 year, Bala Mohammed banned buses in FCT. The guy went off. So I keep telling government, We can't keep giving people money and we're not interested in what they do with that money. Then people have been failing. The federal government has launched the Ease of Doing Business Committee. I have not had anything beyond when they brought the ex-Georgian Prime Minister to come teach us how to do ease of doing business. I say it's not going to work. Georgia is like one local government in Lagos State. So his experience from Georgia cannot be replicated in Nigeria. We have the issue of power supply. It's still there with us. Access to finance. We know all of this. Why do we need a Georgian ex-Prime Minister to come tell us how to do business in Nigeria?
Yeah, perhaps. So the simple lesson would have been because the Georgians were able to fix their energy
and register my enterprise.
But Georgia has a good example. Was a good example of from Eastern Europe. Georgia was a good example of how they can quickly fix electricity and move on very quickly. You remember Georgia Oliver? You see the advert on international television. So they have some experience to teach us. But again, you're talking about domestic challenges we have here because governments sometimes compete with businesses when it's supposed to stay out and be an enabler. That's exactly what you say now. What's the future of MSMEs from where we are right now? In terms of your advocacy, how are you helping out?
We're basically trying to see how we can help MSMEs get non-financial services. We have it in Abuja here already. We have a hub where you can walk in and get advices on how to run your business. And I'll tell you something. I ran a small training. I'll call it small because we had less than 20 persons attend. And I asked them, how do you calculate your profit? And somebody said, if I buy something for 100 and sell for 200, I've made 100 naira profit. I said, no, that's not your profit. You have to factor in the cost of going to buy that item. Maybe you go to the market and you were test, you bought a bottle of water. You have to take it out. Most business owners don't even know how to calculate their profits. Several don't know they owe FIRS an obligation to pay tax. They don't know. Several business owners don't even, they do business blindly and say, government, look, you need to come in and begin to help business owners to thrive. Some people make honest errors, honest mistakes. Who helps them out? In other countries, they have what they call first takers for any business enterprise. Anybody who starts a business, who is the first, among the first people that started a business enterprise, government helps them to stay in the business. But today we have our e-commerce sites, e-commerce companies. How well are they doing? Is government deliberately financing and supporting e-commerce companies? We're not doing that. Are we giving them tax incentive? We're not doing that. So government needs to begin to look down at what MSMEs need as against what government thinks we need. People who are doing business as micro, small, medium enterprises, they need good support from government. And like I told Abuja Environmental Protection Board, you have spent over 500 million in the last 5 years chasing street traders off the street, and they keep coming back. You made 22,000 arrests. The same 22,000 are still on the street today trading. Doesn't it tell you that you need to look for a better way to manage the crisis? As against spending 500 million in the last 5 years trying to take them off the streets. So government is not even interested in knowing what is wrong with MSME development in Nigeria. Government thinks it knows what is wrong. It has not spoken to those who will tell government, look, MSMEs are an integral part of the Nigerian economy, and you need to begin to support MSMEs. And I will say something lastly. When you launch a funding initiative, say 220 billion, 210 billion, and it has only one guideline, it is very faulty. Because one guideline cannot apply for MSMEs and apply for large enterprises. It won't work. In fact, one guideline cannot apply for micro, small, and medium enterprise. We need to begin to sit down and see how do we support MSMEs in Nigeria. And non-financial services is a very key component of it. We need to begin to give them non-financial services. I want to start a business. Somebody should be able to tell you, no, you can't do this business here or there. You need to have these things before you can go into it. And you need to be able to understand how to do business planning. To forecast the future. They don't know all of this thing, and they keep throwing in front that keep going down the drain daily.
Mr. Celestine Okeke, I'm sure you're very passionate about this subject matter, but let's leave it there for another day. I'm sure you're aware the government is launching its own version of UWIN or whatever you call it and try to bring MSMEs and stimulate jobs and things at that level close to the bottom of the pyramid. Let's have this conversation again sometime in the near future. But we know how to get together, and everyone who is watching us on social media, on Twitter, you can find out at MSME. Celestine Okeke, thank you very much for coming on the program today. Lead partner at micro and small medium enterprises support initiative from our Abuja studios. We're back in 2 minutes. We'll get back to the markets. Today is the final 24 before the big auctions from the CBN and the Debt Management Office. Let's look at the equity side of things. Nigerians are drinking less beverages and perhaps eating less bread, consuming less tomato and other things because times are hard. Let's look at it from the equity side of things in 2.